So I want to share something kind of unusual today. In all of my efforts to discover my style, I started to explore things that I'd been attracted to since I was a child. And one of those is straight razor shaving. Now, this is a disposable straight razor. I have a real straight razor and I've been trying to keep it sharp. I'm learning that as a process of learning to shave with a straight razor. Sharpening a blade is a tricky thing, and I'm learning about that. So in the meantime, I'm using a straight razor with a disposable blade, and I really love it. And a lot of people will tell me, well, you're wasting your time. You could buy disposable blades for real cheap and just say that's just quicker and easier. And my answer to that is that's where your mother shaves, so I'm not interested in that. This is a fun way to shave. It doesn't take a lot more time than shaving just with a disposable razor, and it's more interesting. And when I cut myself shaving, I have a story to tell. People say, "Good Lord, what happened to you?" And I say, "I cut myself shaving." How in the world could you get a cut like that from shaving? They don't understand. It's an adventure to shave with a straight razor. Now, so that's my razor, and I have this nice shaving cream that I use. I'm not going to use this today. I'm going to show you my regular one, my regular method. This cream here is really nice and it smells really good. And I've enjoyed that. This is the mug and brush that I use with that. This is my brush and my mug that I use with my nice shaving cream. And it's really nice. And what I use today is soap. I love shaving soap, and this is my little mug made especially for me in China. It's kind of neat. And my soap goes right in there, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. Now, I just wanted to say something about learning about straight razor shaving. It did have a learning curve to it. And how did I know when I was getting the right angle and the right stroke to shaving? Well, here's how I would learn. When I was doing it wrong, the sink and counter would get covered in blood. Because when you cut yourself with these, it's a heck of a deal. It's sharp enough that you don't notice. It doesn't really hurt, but suddenly there's blood everywhere. So now let me show you how you get a lather worked up. Okay, so here's my brush for soap shaving, and I get that brush wet. Now I don't want it sopping wet, so I turn it off and I just give it a little squeeze, but I still need it a little bit wet. And this is my soap in my fancy container from China, and I just do circular motions here. Back and forth, circular. It never really works up a huge lather like out of an aerosol spray can. It's just, I'm going to get enough lather to put a lubricant on my face from this soap. And it is soap especially made for shaving. See how it's getting? See how it's like that. And I'll use a little bit of that. Now, let's go up to my face. So then I brush it on. See, it leaves enough lather there for shaving. It will fade a little bit because it's not shaving cream, it's soap. But it's one of my favorite ways to shave. It leaves a very close, clean feeling shave. And I brush over it a couple times just to make sure I've got everything, and I'm down the palm of my hand to get all the soap out. And then this is a trick I learned as an oil painter. I beat it against the palm of my hand so that it's completely dry when I set it aside. Now, and also, so the soap doesn't melt in its own foam, I rinse it off so that it dries without its own foam on it. Holder and between my fingers so that it doesn't slip. If this thing slips, I'm in big trouble. Just the razor. Yeah, if this thing slips and pivots, I'm going to be bleeding. So I've got to hold on to it steady. And so I take straight down strokes. That's been my biggest mistake, is pivoting. Then I have blood all over the countertop. That's been my learning curve. It looks like I've been attacked by Freddy Krueger whenever I cut myself. And that's a cool thing. because when I cut myself, there's a little tiny nick. People will see me and say, what the heck happened to you? And I said, I cut myself shaving. I'm going to cross the grain now. I think I had another little nick. That was just a little nick. That's not going to be bad. No one will even see that. It'll heal by the time I'm dressed. So here's the other side. You can't even see the soap anymore. But it's there. Boy, you have to be careful with molds because this thing will cut them off without you even knowing what happened. So you do have to concentrate more than you would with just a disposable blade. It's a very satisfying shave. It feels really good. I'm gonna go across the grain again. Yeah, I mean, you could just shave just with a disposable razor, but then you're not cool. You can't pivot like this. You will slice yourself like a ham. It has to be straight. If you pivot even a little bit, there'll be blood everywhere. Okay. It's another skill I wanted to develop that I could say I had. No, I'd cut myself pretty darn good over there. I've got a good bleed going on, but that's okay. Yeah, there is a learning curve with a straight razor, and you do bleed, but that's okay. It's a great experience. It's a great smell. It's a great feeling. It's a great way to shave.